So, we all know what's going on in Nepal right now, and it's pretty evident that they need a new constitution now. It's pretty evident that you all need a new constitution now. In this video, I really want to talk to the people of Nepal. You all, the Gen Z there, I myself being someone from Gen Z, realize what kind of power you all have right now. Your whole political system was trash. Let's be very honest. And it's not like दूसरे देशों का भी trash नहीं है दूसरे देशों का भी trash है. In your country, it was pretty evident. See, as someone from Bharatvarsha, which is described in the Vedas, I think that we all come from the same civilization. We all have similar cultures. We are one. These political distinctions, they aren't of our culture. These political systems, they aren't of our culture. So in this video, I'll just, as someone from Gen Z, as someone who's a Gen Z himself and has read quite a lot of history, geopolitics, civics, and many other subjects. Someone who keeps the Shastras at the top. I would like to just lay out the foundation of a scratch constitution which you all could use. So, what do we need? All we like obviously do not need communism, but we see that capitalism does not do wonders too in any country, in any capitalistic country. You see the businessmen are at the top. In some countries, the governments are at the top, especially in the communist countries, right? You can see what happened to Soviet Union. You can see what happened in China. So you cannot even call China a communist country now. It's ethno fascist government, right? So yeah, they base their whole ideology on their ethnicity and their cultural continuity. That's why they claim even Tibet to be theirs anyway. So what do we need in our constitution? I'm not only talking about Nepal, I'm talking about the whole Bharatvarsha. We do not want businessmen having so much wealth that businessmen or even politicians having so much wealth that they are like saving for the next 10 generations when even the next 10 families in their proximity aren't getting food. When so many families are poor, it's not right that one has so much that he can like save for the next 10 generations. जो कहते हैं 10 अगली पुश्तें. That's not right. So we need a mixture of communism and capitalism. How can we have it? Socialism? No. Socialism doesn't work. We see it in the European countries, like when now they have a well, what can we say, a complicated situation within near the borders of yeah Europe with Russia and everything. So they do not have the money to fund the military because obviously they stopped giving military the amount of money it required. It was all going to social benefits. So what shall we do? Well, if I oversimplify, we can basically put a cap on how much someone can earn. It can be like, for example, $1 million. A man, it's also a lot, but like, let's say a person can earn that much at max. If he works or his company produces a lot more than what's worth $1 million, then he would start getting basically post cap rewards. He might get his children might get better schooling. His he might get cars on lease basically, or villas on lease. So there would be also there wouldn't be any concept of individual's property. A man can just lease, a person can just lease the property like for 99 years or so at max, so that this doesn't happen that wealth gets accumulated in just some family's hands. It shouldn't be like some families are forever rich and some families are forever poor, right? So to stop this hoarding, any big property like land or vehicles should be leased, not sold out completely. This capping thing would give everyone the initiative to innovate so that they can reach this, they can at least earn that $1 million from which they can like buy houses, right? Like lease houses, right? And after that they'll get more benefits. They'll get all the luxury stuff you want, all the luxury cars and all you want. The government would give it. Thus, if you want investment, the government would invest in your company. You can keep innovating whatever you want. The government would give it to you on a lease. You can have it throughout your life. You can live in luxury. But yeah, you wouldn't own it. Your family wouldn't own it. Your offsprings wouldn't own it. You can lease it at max for 99 years. Land, be it houses. See, generational wealth, it's just a right thing for those who have generational wealth. For others, it just becomes like when someone has money, only he can make money. Money begets money, right? All right. What else can we have? We need a multi-party system, obviously. We do not need a monarchy or anything. A normal multi-party system with every 5 years an election. But one more thing. In the world we see around us, the constitution, it has some fundamentals which can never be changed. But I do not think that's right. In a sane society, people know that 100 years from now, what we all think right now is the right thing, is the right value, is ethical. Maybe it might not be to the Gen Zs of that time, the Gen Zs who are like 100 years later born, right? For them, we need to have this concept of an FS of an FCC basically, a fundamental change committee. So in every 100 years, each major party shall nominate a fundamental change committee. Public debate shall be held. Citizens should vote to select one FCC, and then the winning FCC may alter only the pre-announced fundamental laws. So basically, each of these FCCs of each of these parties would announce that these are the fundamental changes that they want to bring to the government, and then they'll publicly debate with other FCCs of other parties, and the people, the citizens, would vote for, for whatever fundamental changes they want. The winning FCC would just alter those fundamental changes which they had already mentioned. So this way we can have an ever modernizing constitution. It will never get old. Even the fundamentals would change with time, with 100 years of time. That's required. Plus, there's a lot of corruption in each country. In Nepal, it was like pretty evident, right? So we need an independent corruption authority for that, which would be fully independent and citizen monitored. Now, how it would be citizen monitored, that we can talk about in detail if like someone invites me to Nepal or something like that. We all can have a public discussion on how it all shall work with the experts. A base. I'm just laying out the base, the structure. So anyway, it should be fully independent and citizen monitored and authorized to investigate, prosecute, and freeze assets of even public servants. And by the way, mandatory public asset declarations should be also there for ministers, judges, civil servants, and military officials. Now, how much salary would someone get? Military personnel shall receive the highest pay because they are legit ready to die for you. Give them the highest pay. They are like they are ready to take a bullet for you. They should be paid the most. Then civil servants and ministers shall also receive very high pays legally, in my opinion. This is inspired from Indonesian constitution. So basically, the chances of a person being corrupt might be less when he is already rich. So, plus in addition to that, we also need a change in our education system. In the ancient Greek societies, philosophy was a major subject which was taught to children, and I think we have to bring it back. We have to bring back the Gurukul environment. Not like we shouldn't teach people about the modern things. Obviously, we should teach that, but with that, we also need to give them a moral teaching. It's not like the parents come and tell you that okay, you shouldn't steal, you should help everyone once or twice a month. They come and tell you that randomly, right? There should be proper philosophical classes and like a proper subject of philosophy, and yeah, any other major subject. Students should be passing it, should be knowing how one shall act and why one shall act that way, not just how he shall act. And we have so many shastras. Our culture has been continuing since ages. If you, even like archaeologically speaking, it's at least 5,000 years old, at least. So yeah, our culture. Be proud of your culture. We have so many shastras. We can teach the whole world about morality. They do not know what morality is. Anyway, so with these philosophical and spiritual classes, let's not call them spiritual, with these philosophical classes centered on morality and civil servants and military personnel already having high pays, the chances of corruption would be less, in my opinion. Educators, doctors, engineers are also paid high, but at a sustainable rate, obviously. Then, what else shall we have? In my opinion, we shall also have integrated living spaces. Like all residential buildings shall follow mandatory reservations, like 25% caste diversity, 25% religious diversity, 25% ethnic racial diversity, right? Now, how would the allocation work? Apartments to be leased by paying the government. Yeah, like if I wanna buy a like lease a government lease an apartment, let's say I apply for one. I can just apply for let's say there are like four apartments on a floor. I can just apply to one as a Hindu, let's say, to the other one, to the second apartment in the floor, in that same floor, only a Muslim can apply. To the third, only a Buddhist. To the fourth, only a Christian, and so on. So that we all learn. how we all can live with each other, even though we all have obviously very different backgrounds and ideologies. We all should learn how to remain united. This allocation system of residential places would ensure that we do not fight with each other. All the Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, everyone can live with each other peacefully. There should be no segregation basically between the communities. Anyway, leaving that aside, also some minute things. All religious places, be it mosques, temples, churches, or anything, they all shall be free from the state control, like complete secularism. What secularism basically meant: separation of the state from the church, as in separation of religion from the government. The government cannot intervene in religious matters, the religion cannot intervene in the matters of the government. That's secularism, right? So, yeah, we need that also. Plus, financial transparency. All religious trusts must maintain public records of donation and expenses so that we know that the Brahmins aren't stealing anything. And I am saying that myself being a Brahman, by the way. Then we have education and healthcare. With the corruption gone after a few decades, obviously, this all would happen in decades only, not years. But after a few decades, we can have free healthcare guaranteed by the state. We can have free and equal access to education up to the postgraduate level, right? Now, how shall the taxation be worked? How shall the taxation be put? Progressive income tax up to the $1 million or whatever the limit might be. Progressive income tax to that level. Then luxury tax, obviously, for premium leased goods. A complete ban on sin products, in my opinion, shall be there. If not that, only for ritualistic practices, only for religious practices, that shall be there. The sin goods, if someone's using it. In many religions, for example, alcohol is used. Uh, so, for just religious practices, these sin goods shall be there. Business tax based on profit and social contribution, obviously. Now, how would all these taxations work? Well, I'm not a proper economist, right? We all need to have a public discussion with the experts on all this. We can all settle it down. We can all fix this. Now, coming to the fundamental rights and duties, the right to vote and contest elections, obviously, the right to healthcare, housing, and education, the right to religious practice and belief, that all, like, obviously, shall be there. And when can the constitution be amended? Well, obviously, normal amendments can come through the parliament, just like it happens already in India. I do not know whether it happens in Nepal. Obviously, it must happen in Nepal too. So that, but in 100 years, we'd have this FCC thing where these committees would have the power to alter even the fundamentals. If 100 years down the line they think that it's it's required, then yeah, obviously discrimination of any kind, like the legal safeguards which we need, discrimination of any kind, untouchability, caste supremacy, they would be all criminal offenses. And yeah, we need to be a manufacturing land, not just based on agriculture or service sector. Look at China. They never went up to the service sector. They did not pay as much focus as India or like USA on their service sector, on their tertiary sector, on just their secondary sector. That's like manufacturing. Focus on manufacturing because during the hard times when you will have basically problems with other countries, only your manufacturing sector is going to help you. Not like completely ignore the agricultural sector. Obviously, focus on agriculture too. But yeah, manufacturing sector should also be there. I personally myself envision an united Bharatvarsh. We all come from the same civilization, and these divisions created are just imaginary. We all know that. This this protest, what what's happening right now in Nepal, it has a lot of power in it. But the Gen Z there shall make sure that Nepal doesn't become the next Bangladesh, right? It's just my appeal to them that they should realize, you all shall realize what our Dharma says, how our Dharma teaches us how we shall act. Saying that, I hope the best for Nepal. Jai Shri Lakshmi Narsingh Dev.